You know, the last few days I've been building up my LaunchBox game library on my computer, which you guys definitely should check out if you're into making your PC a living organized arcade. It's an amazing app that helps catalog your backup installed games on your computer with a beefy database. I'm not affiliated with them in any way, I just really like their dedication and work. While looking up Nintendo games, it made me remember all of the games that created a big influence growing up, along with memories I'd never forget. During that time, it was pretty clear that the Super Nintendo was arguably one of the more successful consoles in the early 90s, surpassing its predecessor, the Nintendo Entertainment System. On this list, I'm going to be naming 5 Super Nintendo games that I played the most as a 90s kid.
I'm starting to feel very old.
A few rules. It has to be Super Nintendo games that I played as a child.
And child doesn't count?
It's also worth noting that I was very selective of the games at the time, so sadly I did miss out on a lot of games that I eventually picked up as I got older. And yes, it's gonna sound like a typical list. Without further ado, let's go! Now I may be cheating a bit in this entry, but Super Mario World and its prequel Yoshi's Island was perhaps one of the more prominent platforms I've played during that time. When I first got my Super Nintendo, it came with Super Mario World and Mario Kart. Super Mario World definitely gave me a lot more hype after playing the Super Mario trilogy for the Nintendo Entertainment System. It was such a craze at the time. I was watching that weird TV show around those years too.
Now, my dear, it's time to initiate you into the loyal brotherhood of tomato sauce vampires.
Brotherhood? But I'm a girl!
How do you stop a vampire?
A stake through the heart!
Top sirloin? Filet mignon? Top sirloin?
Eventually, after a few years, Yoshi's Island came out and I was intrigued. And it was intriguing that it was more of a prequel. My young mind was blown. It was a different Mario game, but with Yoshi as the lead and bringing Crybaby Mario back home. I think what stood out to me the most was the epic obese bosses you end up fighting in each world. Really gives it the threatening look. Looking back at it now, these games were very colorful and blend so well in that era. Surprisingly, Kirby Superstar was given to me by a friend. I had friends at school. I don't remember exactly what happened, but hey, I had it as a kid. There's a good reason why a lot of people claim this to be one of the best Kirby games to date. There was so many game modes and has a co-op mode where your partner can become disposable. My only odd criticism is that this game does feel a bit floaty, and I kinda wish it was a bit longer. Overall, I still really like Kirby. In the 90s, Ninja Turtles was spammed a lot on TV, from the show, toys, games, movies, anti-drug PSAs?
You got it. Let's see if Joey's that smart.
What, chicken? I'm not chicken. You're a turkey.
Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time was first introduced to me by my cousin. It was a family meeting and he always had those unique games that I'd never heard of. In general, it's basically a beat 'em up created by Konami when they were amazing that allowed you to play co-op. As a kid, I remember having a difficult time with this game, but it was still fun. Choosing between turtles with different weapon styles and stats each gave them their certain advantages. After replaying this game, it's still fairly challenging in some parts of the game, but I still love the couch co-op. I used to play the Donkey Kong Jr. game for the original NES, but then... Haha, somehow I can relate to him with kids these days. The Donkey Kong Country trilogy was released and was blown by them graphics. It was definitely unheard of, and that in itself won the 16-bit war. Rare was definitely in their A game, and it made me look forward to their upcoming games at the time. Till Microsoft came along and took away my only happiness. Out of all the games from the trilogy, I enjoyed Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy's Kong Quest. Like what they did there. You take on the role of Diddy and Dixie Kong, who needs to rescue Donkey Kong on their journey. I would love to talk more about this game, but I think I'll save that for a future video. Overall though, I really enjoyed the gameplay and the stellar soundtracks. And well, overall premise of the game. When I played so many Mario games at the time, as a kid I thought all of them were platformers and pretty straightforward. However, Super Mario RPG was my first RPG and basically a catalyst to my joy of RPG genres. At the time, I thought I heard people dropped it or wasn't interested cause it wasn't a traditional Mario game. Though for some reason, I was intrigued and tried to keep playing it. Over time, I started to appreciate it and it became one of my favorite games during my childhood. But man though, I would really love for Square Enix and Nintendo to do some kind of collaboration again. I mean, while we do have the Mario, Luigi, and Paper Mario series, I still feel like it hasn't hit me as it did with this Super Nintendo classic. But don't get me wrong though, I really love these entries as well, but I feel like there's something special with this kind of collaboration. But yeah, that game alone really made me open not to just RPGs, but other genres that I've never even gotten to try. For sure, I'll do a proper review of this game sometime in the future as well. Overall, as I got older, I got to broaden my game selection and played a lot of games that I totally missed out on. And that's the beauty of it. And I became more open-minded to different video game genres, and my advice is definitely not to limit yourself to just one series or genre. I know like a lot of friends who just only played Pokemon and not know the other franchises or the stuff they're missing out on. Sadly too stubborn to try too. Keep an open mind and who knows, you may end up liking a series or genre you never thought you'd get into. Thank you all for watching. Life got a little busy, but hopefully I'll upload more decently from here. If you like my content, feel free to share your positive or negative comments, as I do enjoy reading them. Alright, I'll catch you comrades later.